Hi, I'm Jeanette with Growth Unlimited, and I'm so happy to be with you tonight. Tonight we are talking about how much more do you want to take? You know, there have been so many changes going on in our lives in the last year. A lot of people I talk to are having a really hard time dealing with some of the pressures that they're feeling, and they wonder if this is ever going to end, and as they say, things are going to get back to normal. Well, you've heard me say this before, but things are not going to get back to normal. There's way too much water that's passed under the bridge, and it's time now that we start looking forward to moving into what has been identified as the new normal. You know, the new normal can be a little bit scary to some people, and it's a little bit off-putting. It would be a lot easier to be able to go backwards and live in the existence that we left behind a year ago. But you know, the problem is you can never go back. It just simply, life doesn't work that way. And rather than focusing on moving backward into the hole that we just are digging ourselves out of now, we need to start looking at moving forward and making our lives in the future much better. You know, one of the things that's most important of all is we have to realize that there's a time in everyone's life where we really have to take a stand. You know, I talk to a lot of people who complain about the things that are going on and don't like the conditions that they're dealing with on an everyday basis. But ultimately, they're really not willing to do anything. I've had people tell me, even relatives tell me, that they prefer not to rock the boat, that they don't want to do anything that might be a little bit controversial or a little bit uncomfortable for somebody else. They would rather sit back and just kind of let things happen and see what occurs. Well, you know, I just look at them and say, well, how's that working for you? You know, is it really what you want? Are things getting any better by your not getting involved and doing something? The bottom line is, unless you're willing to make the changes that are necessary in your life to create the kind of existence that you want to have, things are not going to get better. In fact, history has shown things only get worse. The less you do, the more the status quo continues, and the more the abuses occur that are being perpetrated by the people who are causing the issues that we're allowing them to cause. And so basically, it's time now. If you want change, if you don't like the way things are, maybe it's time you start deciding you need to take that stand. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. You know, the people tell me all the time that they want respect. They want other people to respect them. Well, who is it? When you're looking at the people that you respect, if you sit down and just kind of process it through, who is it that you respect? What are the kinds of values and characteristics of those people? You know, Albert Einstein said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. If there are people that are affecting your life in a way that's not beneficial to you, sitting back and hoping it will go away is not going to resolve the problem. The only way, as Einstein said, that you can actually elicit a change is by putting your foot down and saying, no more. And whoever it is that's causing those kinds of problems in your life, it's time now that you take the responsibility that you have to take care of what needs to be taken care of so that your values and your principles you're able to live those values and principles. And this is particularly important if you're dealing with somebody that is creating a problem politically in your life. Because, you know, it's really interesting to me because just having moved from California, I've been guilty of this myself, I actually have decided that, you know, it's time. We can't just elect somebody to office and then figure they're going to do the right thing. We need to accept the responsibility we have as citizens of the United States to realize that the people that we elect to office are not the people in power. The people in power are the people who elected them to that office. That's you. That's me. And so if we don't like what they're doing, we need to honor the stewardship that we were given and make sure that they do the work that we hired them to do. Just like if you were at work and you weren't doing the job that your boss hired you to do, how long would you keep that job? Well, these elected officials are your employees. They are the people that were given the stewardship to do the job that you gave them to do. If they're not doing it, it is your responsibility as the person who gave them that job to either get them to change and do what it is that they're supposed to be doing, or to take that job away. And it doesn't mean that you can kind of sit back and just wait to see what happens. It is your responsibility as a citizen of the United States, as a voter, to hold your ground and make sure that these people are doing the job that you want them to do. And if you don't know how to do that, stay tuned. Because one of the things that we are going to be doing with Growth Unlimited is we're going to be offering some ideas and some trainings that will help you get the skills that you need to make sure that you can hold those people accountable in a way that is appropriate. Because not only do you need to hold them accountable, you need to do it in such a way that you are not violating the rights of other people in that process. So it's now time to start standing your ground, start holding the people that you gave the privilege of serving you, holding them accountable to make sure that they do what it is that they are supposed to be doing. And it doesn't matter whether they are local, it doesn't matter whether they're on a county or state level, or whether they're on a national level. It is your responsibility to hold them accountable. And I challenge everyone watching this to begin doing that in ways that are effective. And by effective, I don't mean getting on social media and complaining and talking about how the world is going to hell in a handbasket and you're not going to be able to have the kind of life you want to have. That does absolutely nothing. That is not effective. Be sure to register for the webinars and the seminars to find out what you can actually do to be effective in terms of making these changes in your lives. Okay, now your silence gives consent. That's a quote from Plato. A man that long ago recognized that truth. So stop being silent. I'm going to quickly give you 12 tips that you can use to show that you have integrity, show that you have the values in place and are following through on the values with behaviors that deserve respect. So, here they are. First of all, think before you speak. Do not just spout off with emotions. Make sure that what you say has merit, and make sure that what you say can be backed up, and that you are willing to commit to doing what's necessary to make it happen. Secondly, say what you mean and mean what you say. Communicate honestly and openly. Don't say things off the cuff that you're sorry for later, and be willing to follow through with what you say you're going to do. Number 3, follow up what you say with the actions that match what you say. I can't stress that enough. Saying it and doing nothing is not effective. Saying it and doing nothing deserves no respect. Number 4, tell it like it is. Don't sugarcoat. I talk to lots of people who tell me they can't believe how blunt and how direct I am in the way I deal with people. I have found over the years that people like the fact that they know exactly where they stand with me every step of the way. They may not always like what it is I have to say to them, but they do like the fact that they know where they are. And sugarcoating something to make somebody feel better about something they're doing wrong is no way to be honest. That gives them room to try to wiggle out of it if they want to do that, or it's confusing to them because they don't fully understand what your position is. Being direct and being honest, now I'm not saying being mean, but you can be direct and honest in a civil way, in a kind way, and yet make people very, very clear about what it is that you're saying. Alrighty. Now, be sure to present both sides of an issue. There are times that we have a tendency to get what I call dogmatic, where it's our way or the highway, and there are always two sides to every issue. So be sure that you and yourself look at both sides and be willing to entertain that there might be something that the other person has that has merit. Be willing to investigate that and discuss that. But ultimately, it's your responsibility to make the decision that you need to make in terms of your own values and your beliefs. Okay, next, maintain personal transparency. All of us have biases. All of us have beliefs that may not match what other people have. Be transparent about those biases. If something bothers you, and you're not really certain that it is totally, completely appropriate that it bothers you, be aware of that. And don't hide that from other people. You can say things like, this is the way I believe, and I can respect that you might not believe the same way, but this is the values that I have in my life, and so this is where I stand. Not expecting everybody to cater to your beliefs is a way of being transparent. And there's room for more than one type of belief in this world. Alrighty, now be willing to explain your rationale. A lot of times that when you have a particular belief or you think a particular way, if you explain it to other people so that they understand it more fully, you're going to have less resistance. And you may actually be able to help them see your direction so they can either accept it themselves or they can accept the fact that you have that so that you can have integrity for yourself. That creates integrity with other people as well, because they can respect where your stand is and they can understand where you're coming from. And so that puts the situation in a place where you can agree to disagree, and that's okay. You don't have to have the same opinion as everybody else, and not everybody else has to have the same opinion you have. Alrighty. Immediately clarify any misunderstandings that crop up. Anytime there's interaction with people, there are always opportunities for misunderstandings. When you realize that there is a misunderstanding, find out what it is and clarify the position, holding your beliefs in place where they need to be and respecting the other person's right to make their own choices. Okay, now, let's say you do something wrong and somebody confronts you. Well, don't shoot the messenger. Take it as a gift. Thank the person for their feedback and take it under advisement and make a decision about what you want to do. If you need to make a change in what you're doing, do that. Make that change and make any remediation or compensation you need to make for someone that you have hurt. All right. Accept responsibility for the mistakes you make. I think the thing I hate hearing worst of all, and I hear it a lot in business right now, is, well, that's not part of my job. Ultimately, if you are the person that is in the place that other people are supposed to come to you to get problems resolved, it is your responsibility. If you don't have the power to make the change yourself, you need to know where you can go to make sure that a change can be made if it needs to be. Telling somebody that's not my job is just taking the lazy way out. And it doesn't provide the kind of service that you want to provide to your fellow man or your employer wants you to provide to their customer. All right. Now, if others do things that are not matching their words, hold them accountable. Let them know, hey, I don't like it when you say one thing and do another. And I don't appreciate it when that kind of thing happens, and this is what I want you to do in the future. Let them know it's not okay to not tell the truth. Let them know it's not okay to not let their actions match their words. And last but not least, don't compromise your integrity by associating with people who don't have the same kinds of values and integrity that you want in your life. You have the right to choose who it is you associate with. And I'll tell you a secret, it's really interesting how people will want to associate with you if you provide the stability in terms of who you are, so they know exactly what to expect from you. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and share it with your friends. And be sure when you subscribe, or if you have already subscribed and haven't done this, be sure to click on the bell so that you're notified of any new videos that are coming out. Growth Unlimited is changing. There are big things that are happening that are going to be really, really different in your life. Be sure to check out our website by clicking on the link below. And thanks so much for joining me tonight. Let me know how you feel about how people are treating you. Let me know how you feel you can improve your integrity by being honest. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll talk to you next time.